didn't mark it and you just closed your eyes and listened, I love that you can't tell if you're in Psalm or if you're in Matthew, and I just think that's so cool that we have that to look at like that. Today, we are going to be continuing in our study looking at the various Psalms, and today we come to a section. We've just finished Psalm 119, which is the longest and has the most words, the most chapters, the most verses. And then you come to Psalm 120. And the next 15 chapters are called Song of Ascent. Every chapter for the next 15 chapters starts with that title, Song of Ascent. Now, for anyone who's interested, there's some really fascinating stuff to read through and look at, because the experts, being the Jewish rabbis in this, all have and make academic cases and different things for what this could mean, this Song of Ascent. And there's all kinds of different theories, about a half a dozen that have quite a bit of traction. One really fascinating one, the one that I think is the kind of the neatest, is you had between the courts in the temple, going up from the court of the women, there were these 15 steps. And so one of them was, each of these would be, you would sing as a priest went up each of the 15 steps, these 15 chapters. But what everyone agrees is that this is the idea of kind of the pilgrimage going to Jerusalem. So people, Jews, traveling to Jerusalem for holy days and for events, that these were songs that they would sing on the way, Song of Ascent, very much going up, is this idea that they always held of going up to the temple, going up to worship. Yes, of course, there was an actual rise, but it was this symbolic nature of summiting the mountain, going to the mountain to meet with God. We have that both physically and in poetry all through Scripture, meeting God on the mountaintops. And so these were Song of the Ascents, starting in chapter 120. And so from 120 to 134, each of them are titled this way, and that's where we will spend our time this morning. And much like we've done every preceding week on working our way through these Psalms, we're going to skip around and just look at a few pieces. And as always, I encourage you, please, on your own today and this week, break these down. It's 15 chapters in a very small kind of bite. Not even a portion of the one chapter we studied last week. So we start in 120. And the first line after this title, A Song of Ascent, is, "In my distress I called to the Lord, and he answered me." After that, you have the next 6 verses there, 5 or 6 verses there, you have him laying out what he called to God with. He starts at the beginning, I called out to God, and God answered, and this is what I said. And so in his cry to God, it was very much a cry of, God, deliver me. I am lost. I'm in this hopeless spot. My enemies are around me. It starts out very clearly, people are telling lies about me. God, deliver me. But most importantly for me is that first line, in my distress, in my peril, in my time of need, when I was distraught, when I was lost, in distress, I called to the creator of the universe, and he answered me. And that's very much the theme of these 15 chapters. Chapter 121. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come from? Well, my help comes from Yahweh, who made heaven and earth. 121 is almost like a call and response or like a retelling. So you have the person at the beginning saying, I lift up my eyes, where does my help come from? And verses 3 on are the answer. The idea is a priest giving this answer, saying he will not let your foot be moved. I want you to pay attention. I don't know what your translation uses. It will either say keeps or guards, probably. But the repetition of that, think guards, and look at the repetition of that here. He will not let your foot be moved. He who guards you will not slumber. Behold, he who guards Israel does not nap or sleep. The Lord is your guard. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all evil. He will guard your life. The Lord will guard your going out and your coming in from this time forth and forevermore. This idea that I called to the creator of the universe, I lifted up my eyes, asked where my help came from. The answer came from the creator of the universe, who then reinforced over and over again that God, the creator of everything, stands to guard everything about you. And I love, for me, verse 4, you had these towns and these cities and these walled cities and different areas, and you had guards and you had people, watchers on the wall to look out, trumpeters to look out for danger or for things coming in. And they, of course, would work like as guards would now in shifts. One would work, one would sleep, one would nap, and you would do this. And he says, but our guard doesn't sleep, doesn't nap, is always on. Chapter 122 says, I was glad when they said to me, let us go up to the house of Yahweh. Let us go to the house of the Lord. 123, verse 3 says, have mercy upon us, O Lord. Have mercy upon us, for we have had more than enough of contempt. We're full of contempt. Our soul has had more than enough of the scorn of those who seem to be at ease, of the contempt of the proud. Please show mercy. And 124 ends with, our help is in the name of the Lord, who made heaven and earth. Our help is in Jehovah. Our help is in Yahweh. Our help is in the one who created everything. Everything. Psalm 125, those who trust in Yahweh are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved, but abides forever, forever. As the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people from this time forth and forevermore. That's a hymn, as the mountains surround Jerusalem. We don't sing it here. It's just different churches and have different hymns that you latch on to and rotate through. It's a beautiful hymn, and to be perfectly honest, I was not familiar with it until I went to Jinotega in Nicaragua. Jinotega sits in a bowl, and you don't have to imagine it. You can literally stand and look around in a circle, and you can see you are in the bottom of a bowl. The mountains are so close and literally surround this mountaintop city of Jinotega in Nicaragua, where we have been several times. And there, Donna Baker, Benny's wife, the matriarch of the program there for 25 years, this is her very, very favorite song, and they sing it as the mountains surround Jinotega, so the Lord surrounds his people. The imagery is just beautiful. We went from guards and walls to the very mountains, going over and over again, trying to show anything that we think of as guarding us, anything that we think of that offers us protection, that is done by God in ways that we can't even fathom. Those protections that we look to arms and guards and swords and walls and mountains. And the over and over and over reminder of, but the creator of the universe, the creator of those mountains is what guards. And that creator does not sleep, does not blink, doesn't miss anything. Keep going with me towards the next chapter there, 126. Then our mouth was filled with laughter, and our tongue with the shouts of joy. And they said among the nations, Yahweh has done great things for them. Yahweh has done great things for us, and we are glad. Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. He who goes out weeping, bearing the seed for sowing, shall come home with the shouts of joy. Look at verse 5. Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. This is one that forever has spoken to me. This idea, it is sowing and reaping. It's harvest. It's you plant something, and it can be seasons later, months later, it can be years later, it can be decades later that you see the harvest, that you reap the harvest from this. It says, those who sow in tears will reap the harvest of joy. I had a friend who he was delivering a message at a conference, and I wasn't at the conference, but he was retelling it to me, and he said, it dawned on me on stage. He was talking to a group at a battered women's shelter, and he said he's an excellent, phenomenal speaker, but he also says, I am a upper middle class white man with two parents, brothers and sisters. Parents are still together. My hardest thing in life was trying to decide which thing I wanted to do next. He said, I don't have a frame of reference for suffering at this point in my life. And he said, it dawned on me talking to this group at this battered women's shelter. He said that this verse about sowing in tears and reaping in shouts of joy, he said, obviously, when all of us get to heaven and all of us see Jesus, as Aaron says, it's going to be that moment where Jesus goes, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. He said, and we will all run. He said, but the beauty of this sowing in tears dawned on me in speaking to this group, and I realized and told them, I said, man, it's going to be amazing to me. He said, but when we all take off running, you all are going to beat me in that foot race. He said, you all have sowed in tears. And that reunion, that time of everything being made right, he said, unfathomable to any of us. He said, man, for people who have sowed their whole life in tears, what a moment that will be. Psalm 130 is probably my complete favorite in this little section here. Let's do this one. It says, out of the very depths I cry out to you, Yahweh. God, hear my voice. Let your ears be attentive to the voice of my pleas for mercy. If you, Lord, should mark iniquities, O Lord, who could stand? But with you there is forgiveness that you may be feared. This awe in the fact that the creator of the universe, who is perfectly divine and perfectly just, is also perfectly forgiving and merciful. I wait for the Lord. My soul waits in his word, waiting for that word of forgiveness. In this word, I hope. My soul waits for Yahweh more than watchmen in the morning, more than the watchmen in the morning. O Israel, hope in the Lord, for with Yahweh there is steadfast love. There's that sentence, steadfast love. And with him is plentiful redemption. And he will redeem Israel from all Israel's iniquities. O Lord, my heart is not lifted up. My eyes are not raised too high. I don't occupy myself with things too great and too marvelous for me. But I have calmed and quieted my soul like a weaned child with its mother. Like a weaned child is my soul within me. We have one child who is breastfed and one child who is not. This isn't a statement of that, but a breastfed child, that bond is something like you can never see. And I laugh all the time. Paisley is my mini-me. Emily, we see it in there, but Paisley is my mini-me. And Paisley nursed until she was 2 years old. And so until after that, Paisley had nothing in the world for me. I could offer her absolutely nothing. I just couldn't. Try as I might, I wasn't the one. After a child is weaned, before that, a child literally uses the breast or the bottle or whatever it is for that sense of comfort. When Paisley would get shots, she would literally sometimes nurse while getting the shot because that comfort would help. After a child is weaned and that is no longer there for comfort, that doesn't make the comfort go away. That source, that mother, is still that source of comfort. And he says, I've been weaned. I've been separated from you in that way, God. But you are still what calms me. You are still what allows my soul to be quieted. Behold, 133. Behold how good and how pleasant it is when brothers and sisters gather and dwell together in unity, as is the case this morning. 134, the last of this section. Come, bless Yahweh, all you servants of Yahweh, who stand by night in the house of the Lord. Lift up your hands to the holy place. Prayer. Lift up your hands in the holy place and bless the Lord. May Yahweh bless you from Zion. He who made heaven and earth. Remember who you are praying to. Remember who you are praying to. There's a lot of songs created from the Psalms, this prayer book. Lots of songs are created. Hymns are created. Contemporary Christian songs are created. Love songs are created. All are pulled from this. There are several, of course, pulled from this section here, this Song of Ascent. One of them we'll listen to and see the imagery there. Hillsong does this song quite literally called Song of Ascent. And a couple of these lines that I want us to hear and think on as we've looked through this. From the song, it says, So I will praise you on the mountain, and I will praise you when that mountain is in my way. You are the summit where my feet are, and so I will praise you in the very valleys all the same. Because you are no less God within the shadows. You're no less faithful when the night leads me astray. You are heaven where my heart is. In the highlands and in the heartache, all the same. The end says this: whatever I walk through, wherever I am, your name can move mountains wherever I stand. If ever I walk through the valley of death, I will sing through the shadows my song of ascent. Because from the gravest of all valleys come the pastures that we call grace, a mighty river flowing upwards from a very deep but very empty grave. That's what makes all the difference. See, this section, these songs of ascent carry the theme of exile and the theme of return. It talks of us chasing God, searching, but the reminder that we feel that intimately. We feel that deeply within our souls, this searching for God. But here's the thing, God doesn't move. God doesn't move. It is standing in the middle of the day, outside, not a building, not in the city, out in a field, not a cloud in the sky, and the sun overhead for the world to see. And frantically running around, opening doors, lifting up rocks, peeking behind trees, trying to find the sun. This is what we do. This is what we do. All through here, it's this theme of praising on the mountain and praising in the valley, something that we talk about here all the time. But the reminder that it is the creator of the universe that we feel like we are searching for. And I don't mean searching in the academic sense of like once you found trying to deepen your understanding. I mean, we oftentimes feel like we are lost and we can't find God, and God is the sun in that field. Going, what are you looking for? It is this feeling of desperately searching for a single grain of sand while standing in the middle of the desert. Desperately begging for one drop of salt water floating in the middle of the ocean. God is not hard to find.